Hello YouTube! Today we're going to be doing some account reviews again, where we take a look at the community's accounts and offer them some advice. Now, this first account we're going to look at hasn't been visited in a year and a half. It's old, and you will tell that from immediately looking at it. Now, another thing about it is also it's only come back in the last week, so they're still doing all the new things in the game, such as the Glory Challenge and the chapter missions, so this account is very, very fresh-faced. Let me show you what we're dealing with right now so that you guys can have a little bit of context. So the account is level 163 VIP 3, so they actually managed to get themselves to a pretty decent level. The gold and the gems is phenomenal. I don't know what you've been doing for the last year and a half. I don't know where you got these gems from, but you are absolutely stacked, my dude. That is a heck of a lot of gems and a heck of a lot of gold. That's actually going to be really good as you move forwards. Just that alone tells me you can have a lot of fun with this account. And the fact that you have such a big pile of gems, and you're probably going to be playing this free to play, I don't know, but either way, buying cores every day is a must. So again, we haven't looked at the heroes, but I can tell you that for sure. Buy cores every day. That pile of gems is going to last you a very long time doing that. Maybe don't go for scrolls because it will make the pile get smaller quicker, but that's still fantastic. So that's really, really nice. How many crystals of transcendence do we have saved up right now? Okay, right, you only came back last week, so not a lot. You're going for Tix and Drake, two excellent choices. So let's go ahead and actually look at your account. I'm hoping you don't already have a shadow hero. The answer is no. We have Penny and an E1 Sigmund. So first things first, Penny, excellent first E5. A lot of people argue that this is one of the better E5s. Pretty confident Barry believes that Penny is the best first E5 because she has good accessibility and she's very versatile and strong. And if those are your two premises for what makes a good hero, I'm very much inclined to agree with Barry. For me, I prefer a hero that can last longer into the late game, so I lean much more towards Eloise and Ithaca. But when it comes to immediate early game value and how easy they are to pick up, Penny is probably definitely the best hero in the game for that reason as a first E5. So yeah, can't go wrong with a Penny at all. What have we got for artifacts? You've got a Punisher of Immortal. We've got Ranger Armor, Crit Attack Stone. Great. Don't take this higher than Soul Stone 1. You don't need to. But then again, your gold is so high. How much dust do we have? Wow, we have loads as well. That's awesome. And Spirit is really high as well. So the fact that you've come back to this account, you can probably enjoy the game a heck of a lot, because you're not going to get slowed down by the usual things people do get slowed down by, which is the amount of spirit you have and the amount of gold you have. So that actually should make things pretty fun for you. One concern I can see with this account is we have multiple 10 stars. We have Vesa, we have Horus, and the 9-star Sigmund. It's very wide, which is something we talk about a lot here when we do account reviews. One of the biggest and most common mistakes that people make is they build a lot of heroes at once. Doing this means that all the 5 stars you're getting are not being focused to build E5s, and the difference between an E5 hero and a not E5 hero is huge. E5 heroes can be imprinted, E5 heroes gain unbending will. Those two things alone make E5 heroes able to do things that other heroes cannot, such as their own seal lands, able to be much better in PvP, PvE. It just makes them really good, powerful, consistent heroes. So this Penny is going to outperform every other hero on your team. Now, one thing you can take a look at is, first of all, this Sigmund. Do you need him? Probably not. So one option is to go ahead and regress the Sigmund. Do we have any soul stones? We have 15. Okay. Another option is to keep the Sigmund around and replace him with someone else, but doing that might not be very beneficial. That said, though, we do have the Glory Challenge, and I'm curious, have we built an E5? No, we haven't built an E5 in the Fortress faction. So this is something unique about this account. You built that Penny before you left, and that means that Penny doesn't count towards you building an E5 Fortress hero. So actually, having the Sigmund isn't bad. So you can swap this Sigmund for someone like Sherlock, or maybe even a Seer to later go ahead and build a Sword Flash, and that will allow your Sherlock, Sword Flash, Fiona, whatever, to become an E5 hero in the Fortress faction to unlock you those rewards in the Glory Challenge. Later on, you're going to want to go and upgrade someone else. Whether it's going to be this Vesa is unlikely. You're probably going to use her as food. The same can be said for the Horus, in all fairness. Both are fodder heroes, that's for sure, in their current form. You might argue, oh, but Vesa has a Transcendence form. you're not going to be building Transcendence Vesa anytime soon. The Belrain is okay as a 9-star support. That's fine. You can keep her around. She'll support you. Just don't take her to 10-star. Leave her where she is. 9-star support Belrain is actually fine. I don't mind that at all. Aspen, that could be a little more difficult, because when it comes to your heroes in the Dark faction, every single hero you've gone for has fed into Aspen. That will make Aspen most likely your first E5 in the Dark faction. I would say maybe don't go for Drake anymore. Do go for Aspen. Aspen can solo Aspen Dark, right? He's very good at doing that, especially with imprints. He's a phenomenal hero. Also, he is getting transcended. Even, you might even be watching this video and his Transcendence form might be out. Transcendence Aspen is looking like he's potentially going to be a really, really strong hero. So you might actually want to consider yourself getting Aspen copies. That could really help you too, Cobby Roby. So yeah, that's actually not too bad going ahead and building Aspen. We also have a copy here, so you need one more copy. Well, actually, no, that is the one more copy for 9-star, so that's good. And you're going to need 2 more copies if you want to get to 10-star, and you have the 2 copies here. Great. So that's 10-star Aspen. Brilliant. I would say focus on Aspen, not Drake, when it comes to your Compass of Transcended. I think Aspen might be the smarter choice here, because it's more likely that you're going to get Aspen built than you are a Drake, because you don't have any Drake copies. And you may have seen that Drake is really good, but actually, if you're building Sigmund, a lot of what Sigmund offers for boss fights in PvE is armor reduction. And if you're not building Drake, you'll actually get value out of that Sigmund, as crazy as it sounds. So it might not be a terrible idea to even build the Sigmund. Is that a wild piece of advice? Because you can swap him out at any point. That's kind of interesting. That's really funny. That's really, really funny. So actually, when you look at this account, there's a lot of stuff going on here that don't look optimal, right? But if you use the Scaries as fodder, you use the Valkyrie as fodder, OD as fodder, Gustin, you can go ahead and build up to 10-star, use him as fodder to imprint or enable heroes. But it's actually, there's a lot of stuff you can do here, and you'll be fine. Garuda looks like she's going to probably be a forest hero for you. Maybe your first E5 in the forest faction. That's also probably likely. She could be your next E5 at some point. Watch out, though. You might find that you just want to be careful, because you could end up being too wide, and you might be able to build too many heroes at once. But in this current form, I think you can use Vesa as food, Horus as food, and you should be okay. So even though the account on the surface does look a bit rough, I think that's just because it's new, and that's the nature of what's going to be happening. But actually, as you return and start trying to fix things up, because you've got all those gems, all that gold, all that spirit, I think this account could definitely look pretty good in a few months' time of dedicated improvements. So I look forward to seeing what you do with this account in the future. Keep us up to date. And I think this could actually go somewhere pretty nice, because 6-star heroes can be used as food. Be careful with your light and darks, but generally they should perform well. Belrain's a good support. Aspen can do Seal Land for the Dark faction. And just make sure the one thing you're doing is focusing on your glory challenge, right? So build 1 E5 in each faction, get your 9-star puppets as rewards, use that to build more E5s, and in no time, you should eventually snowball and have an account that looks really nice. So good luck to you. I hope it does well, and really thank you for sharing this account with us. It's nice to see accounts that have come back from such a long time that do have a nice clear path of improvement. And I know there's a lot of people who are free-to-play players or low VIPs that would kill for this much gold and that many gems. So that should make your life a heck of a lot easier. Before we go on this account, actually, one thing I've just noticed is this soul stone right here is a block attack soul stone, and it's on the Horus. So don't use the Horus as food, because that's a really, really good stone for an Eloise. It might be worth keeping the Horus around and maybe even building him up, or waiting to get Eloise copies, swapping Horus to an Eloise, and then upgrading her up to be an E5 in the Shadow faction. So that's another option. You don't have to go ahead and feed the Horus, because you can actually get value from this stone. Generally, if you've got a really powerful stone on a hero, you don't want to be feeding them or regressing them. So that's something worth bearing in mind. The Vesa, though, it's only an agate stone, so you can lose this, and that's totally cool. So yeah, just want to bear that in mind. And yeah, you can use Horus and Seal Land as well. It's just whether you think it's worth it going ahead and upgrading a Horus, or you want to personally go for Eloise, right? Because there's no Horus copies that I can see. Actually, yes, there are. What the? 4 copies of Horus? Okay, yeah, you could totally build Horus as an E5. Which sounds like a really strange piece of advice, but genuinely that's not terrible, because you build the Horus and you swap him to an Eloise, because you'd swap him to an Eloise anyway. So yeah, you could totally build Horus to an E5, get a 9-star puppet from the Glory Challenge, and eventually later down the line, swap him in. So yeah, with all those Horus copies, Horus is an option for another E5 as well. So you got a lot of options. We can go for Aspen when you finally get the copies. Don't start upgrading Aspen now. But actually, you might want to make Horus a priority because you have all the copies. Yeah, that's actually really good advice. So nice one. Good thing we spotted that right at the end there. Yeah, Horus can do a lot. Horus can do a lot. Underrated hero. So this next account belongs to Liddy. It is level 126, VIP 4. So I'm expecting we have some E5s here. And we do. We have E5 Garuda. We have E3 Inosuke, E2 Tix, E1 Rogan, 9-star, 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 8-star, 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 6-star, 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 9-star, 6-star, 6-star. Wow. Okay. So all these heroes are max level. Look at this. All these 6 stars that have become level 140. All the 8 stars are 180. The 9 stars. Why are you trying to upgrade Horus? Holy crap. Look at that gold. We have no gold. How are we doing for gems? No gems. What are you doing? Okay, so this is concerning. Liddy. Liddy. We have a bad case of the twitchy fingers. Probably one of the most common things I see with accounts that are really making a mess of themselves. Twitchy fingers leads to wide building. It leads to you leveling up heroes and wasting gold and spirit in the process. It means that your stones are all over the place. It just creates a bit of a mess. In fact, your stones aren't all over the place. At least you haven't been twitchy with that. But that's because you've got no gold because you've been leveling everybody up. We've got one E5 here, which is Garuda. But then you've started building Inosuke, not finished the Inosuke. We started building Tix, didn't finish the Tix. We started building the Rogan, didn't finish the Rogan. So all that food that you've used to build the Tix, to build the Rogan, that could have been used to have Inosuke at E5. But the thing is, you don't have the Inosuke copies, so you've just gone, nah, I'm not even going to do that. I'm not even going to bother. I'm just going to upgrade somebody else, which is really not healthy for progress. Look, we don't have any chests. We don't have anything at all. Probably this singular 6-star chest just sitting there. Everything has been completely famished. By the looks of things, you do have some prophet orbs and some scrolls, so I'm guessing you're trying to save them, which is good. Are we buying cores every day? We're trying to. You've only got 1,483 gems, though, so that's even difficult. Whew. Advice. How can an account like this get pointed in the right direction? What can we possibly tell you to do? Well, the first things first is don't build as wide, because in the long term, you're just hurting your ability to be able to do game modes, and probably I'd say get more fun out of the game. You can have a lot more of enjoyment by having an E5 that can do different game modes. You'll get more satisfaction out of that Inosuke, out of that Tix. So I think priority number one is whichever one you get copies of, let's finish Inosuke, let's finish Tix. That's going to give you a Fortress E5 and a Shadow E5, which is going to get you those boxes ticked in the Glory Challenge, which is going to get you a 9-star puppet for each of those factions. That's good. That's what we want. That is nice. Now, we've also got Rogan here. Rogan can actually assist Garuda in the Seal Land for the Forest faction. How are we doing there, right? We're on 11? Oof, that should be higher. With a Rogan and a Garuda, you should be at least better than 11. We've got block attack on Garuda, but that's not good. We need crit attack, attack HP, holy damage, attack HP, or attack holy damage. One of those ones. These are all over the place. We've got damage over time purify here, which I guess you were probably trying to fight something that had damage over time purify. We want lethal fight back on Garuda. We want Garuda to hit hard. Mightiness is okay. Vitality, you're kind of all over the place. You haven't really decided whether we're playing aggressive or we're playing healthy. I'd say just for now, just stay aggressive. Unbending Will's good to keep. That's good. What artifacts have you got? I'm also curious about that one. Let's take a look here. No good ones. We got a Rune's Power. We got an Echo of Death. We got 3 magic sources. That's nice. Rune's Power is actually pretty okay as well. I think I know where you got that from. You probably got that from a monthly buy and get a load of copies things. I think that's probably where you got those Garuda copies as well. But yeah, this account is all over the place. If you're new to this game and you're watching this video now, this is kind of what you shouldn't be doing. Building lots of heroes like this is just going to drain your resources and throw it around. Liddy, what is it you want to be able to do? Because I'm like, what is inspiring you to do what you're doing, right? Why are you spending the way you're spending? We have 146 relics, so I'm assuming you're saving them up, which is good at least, right? That means we're going to be getting the 400 relics needed to eventually buy an artifact, so that's fine. That's nice. So yeah, Liddy, tell me, what exactly is your goal with this account? Why do you play Idle Heroes? So Liddy says you're trying to save up some stuff now, and you play for fun. Okay, that's good. So I don't know where you get your fun from, but I can tell you like to have a pretty broad selection of heroes. You want to try and get a lot out of the game, I'm assuming, because if you're throwing all your resources at stuff, you're probably always trying to push another game mode and trying to see if those extra resources can help you. So I think, yeah, implementing a little bit of patience is probably a smart thing to do. And you want to push Tower of Oblivion? Okay, that's good. That's something good to aim for. It's difficult, that's for sure. I think upgrading your ticks is really going to help. If we can get E5 ticks in here, that's going to be really nice. Giving him an energy artifact is going to allow him to pop off. He is going to need a better stone, but for you to upgrade this stone, we're going to need more gold. So everything plays back into itself. If you're wasting your resources going in everybody else, that's stuff that could be helping your ticks get stronger. So it might be worth pushing ticks to get him to become a little more powerful. The same can be said for a Nosuke if you want to go with the Fortress Seal Land, but you're probably going to want to get some more imprints before you try that. So I'd try and get ticks up if we can. As well, we want to get ourselves a nice artifact, so hopefully during the holiday season there are some decent artifacts available for free. And a decent artifact on ticks will allow him to do Aspen Dungeon. And we're currently at Hell 28. Oof, that is not very good. This goes to show that Garuda is not a very good hero in Aspen Dungeon. One of the reasons I don't like Garuda as a first E5. If you're forced to build Garuda, I totally understand. But if you have another option, I would totally avoid building Garuda as a first E5 because Garuda's not that good at Aspen Dungeon. It's a well-known fact. So it's good to see at least that we've got ticks coming up. But please, I think the best advice I can give you right now is to start focusing your 9 stars and your 10 stars into being food for this ticks. Who should you feed and sacrifice? Well, I think Horus can go, right? Horus, you need to accept that he's a goner. Same with Valkyrie. I would keep the Eloise, I would keep the Fiona, I would keep the Drake. They'll eventually be useful. You can say the same potentially about Olivia. Nakia is food, Gustin's going to be food. Alright, get those guys built to 10 star or 9 star and fed away. Same for Valkyrie, same for Horus. If you can, 10 star them because 10 stars are more valuable because they can be used for imprints and higher level enables. Just because you get a 9 star and maybe a Rogan copy in the future, do not E2 Rogan. Leave Rogan at E1 for now, and you should only think about upgrading this Rogan once you need to expand into another hero in the Forest faction, or maybe once you've built a Nosuke and ticks to E5 and you seem to have the spare food and the Rogan copies. You do have a copy of Rogan here, which is good, but you are going to need to be a little bit patient now and not use your food. So it's good to see that you haven't just gone, ooh, I can feed Valk to Rogan, there we go. So at least we've been a little smart there. So yeah, be patient, be steady, and eventually in time, this account will sort itself out, but it is going to require a lot of patience to reacquire that gold and get yourself in a position where you can make progress. It's the complete opposite of the last account. You've gone so far all over the place, but that stops you from having enough gold and enough gems, whereas the last account had way too much gold and way too many gems because they hadn't logged in ages. It's funny to see that difference, and yeah, it's nice to see that loads of people are in very different places. So again, a message to Liddy and also to folks at home that suffer from this problem. Try ease up on your twitchy fingers. You don't need to level everybody up. One hero to E5 at a time, and it will be better for your account in the long run. Before we leave Liddy's account, one thing I want to draw your attention to is this guild tech. So guild tech should all be focused on Garuda, because Garuda is your first E5. And this is what Warrior looks like. It's nearly empty. Mage is empty. Ranger is kind of all over the place. Like, look at this. It's an even split between Warrior and Ranger. This is not good. This is not optimal at all. You want to go in one guild tech at a time. You want to focus all your eggs in one basket. I know traditionally that's considered a bad thing, but in Idle Heroes, that's a very, very good thing. And I'm worried here that you haven't got that many guild coins. In fact, I would go so far as to say you may have bought some guild coins or guild solidus using your guild coins. I don't know if that's the thing, Liddy. I don't know if you're going to admit to doing that, but that is potentially something you did, right? I know there's loads of people who try and build Garuda as their first hero and spend 50,000 guild coins to go ahead and get a Garuda copy because they think that's optimal, they think it's good. Trust me, it isn't. Guild coins are really important to be used in guild tech and nothing else. And having this little tech is really going to impact you. And you said you bought a lot of heroes from there? No, Liddy! That's terrible! Every month? Ah, that's so not optimal at all. What you should be doing is putting it into tech. Tech is where you get so many stats. You get attack, you get HP, you get block. You get all this stuff later on. You get attack and HP here because that allows your hero to become more powerful, and that allows your hero to get you more rewards and resources and clear game modes. So, Liddy, the final thing I'm going to tell you right now is never buy heroes with guild coins. Same for you folks at home, because this is terrifying. Because this is what happens. You lose so many stats. So many stats that could help you out. Rip those guild coins. That is so painful. So, Liddy, please, from now on, never spend another guild coin on a hero again. All in tech. Whew. Wow. That's wild. Alright, folks, this next account is level 159, VIP 3. All their chapter missions are done. Let's mix it up this time. Let's start by looking at the Glory Challenge. What have we got here? Just Fortress. Oh. Okay, 1 E5. Or you have a lot of Fortress E5s. I don't know what's more alarming. You're level 159 with one thing done in the Glory Challenge. That's concerning. Now, we have 260 million gold, which isn't a lot, but it's something. And it's more than some accounts have. And we have not a lot of gems. Hardly any gems at all. I think you can barely afford to buy Cause of Transcendence. I don't know what you're buying with your gems, but we do not have a lot of it at all. But you are a VIP 3 player, so I'm guessing you're pretty budget, very steady. So let's take a look at the heroes we're dealing with here. And yep, we called it 2 heroes in the Fortress faction. Ooh. And we are wide. So wide. Look at all these 9 stars. What's nice, though, is that Karim and Christian and Edgar and Grey-Eyed, these are all fodder. So you can actually use this to eventually go ahead and build some heroes up. We got Tix here and Garuda. Now, what's slowing us down? Is it copies? Because I'd be surprised if you don't have Garuda copies. No, you can totally E5 Garuda. You have copies. What about Tix? Do we have copies of Tix? Yeah, we have copies of Tix. So, humorously, we have all the copies of Tix and all the copies of Garuda we need to make them E5. The one thing that's stopping you from having an E5 Tix or an E5 Garuda is the fact you built them both simultaneously. Happens all the time, guys. All the time. People try and build 2 heroes at once when you could totally have an E5 Tix right now. So you're actually slowing your progress down by building both simultaneously. Foolishness of the highest degree. But what you told me is that you started playing this game without any guidance. You didn't look at any videos, you didn't look at any tutorials or any guides. And that happens all the time, right? A lot of people will just see an advert, download the game, and just play. And maybe you'll Google advice for idle heroes, but there's a lot of really bad articles that were written years ago. There's some really dodgy advice out there on the internet. And also some people will watch an older video of mine, which gives you out-of-date advice and maybe doesn't even make any sense because of all the updates that have happened to the game. So you got to be careful. There's a lot of crap out there. And unfortunately, because of that crap, people make mistakes. But thankfully, we got a lot of 9 stars here that we could use as food. Now, we also want to build some 10 stars to begin getting this Tix up. So I think priority number 1 needs to be get yourself some 10 stars. So let's look at this Karim. Do we have spare copies of Karim? No. We're going to need 2 Karim copies to get him to 10 star. That's going to help us. You could build a 10 star Delacium. That's another option. But obviously, that involves building Delacium. And actually, Delacium would be a really good E5 on this account because you're already going to have Mage from having Sherlock and Tix. So when it comes to guild tech, a Delacium in there as well isn't going to hurt anybody. Now, I see Sherlock, I see Penny. What are our artifacts here? We've got 1 singular Punisher, and we have Rage of the Dragon. Funny, keep this artifact around. It's actually quite helpful in some contexts. Attack HP, holy damage. So it's quite an aggressive Sherlock. Block HP is doing nothing for us, but it's interesting. Actually, I think it's got a higher HP component. Yeah, it does, so it's got that going for it. Penny is running crit attack. That's good with Punisher. Is nice with Resonance Gear as well, all attuned to her. So that's not terrible. That's a pretty good Penny. I'm hoping with the Sherlock and the Penny, we've actually made some decent progress in Fortress Seal. And no! 14 out of 25. Is it the monster that's slowing you down? Is it the monster that's slowing you down? Hell yeah! Why are we building 3 monsters at once? Why? There is no need for doing this. What the heck? FMS, why? 4 if you include the Sphinx, but it's only level 90. But a 120 Apparition, a 141 Phoenix. What are you doing? Why? You can only have 1 monster on your team at a time. So build them 1 at a time. Oh. How? Okay. There's always something new we find with accounts like this. To be fair, I didn't even check the last account's monsters, so that's fun. Let's check this account's guild tech. Is this just as bad? Oh, no. Oh, it's just as all over the place. Okay, well, Ranger looks all right, but you haven't finished it. You've gone click, 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 click. So you've gone around, but what you should be doing is getting them to a decent level and then moving on to the next ones. You want to get to level 10. Like, you don't need 20 block, right? You just get that to 10, 5% block, move on, go around until you've got Ranger Constitution. Get all your HP and attack ones up. Like, your HP one here isn't even maxed, and you still have spare guild coins. Mage, nothing going on in here, so poor Sherlock isn't even gaining anything. Priest, why have we upgraded Assassin? How does that help you? You don't have a single assassin on this account. We're using Penny and Sherlock and Tix, and I think was the other one Garuda? Why have we got stuff in Assassin? Warrior doesn't really need it either, because the Garuda is like E2. You should have Ranger and Mage. They should be the ones you're focusing on. Oh dear. So yeah. Oh, and you've reset it in the past? You absolutely can't do this. You can't reset this. And you do got assassins? No, you don't. You got no assassins, right? 9 stars. No, you have none, right? They're not. No, that doesn't count. 9 stars don't count. You don't want to buff a 9-star. You want to buff your E5s. Everything is scales. Everything scales. So the bonuses that you want to focus on are the ones for your E5 heroes. Sherlock is E5. Penny is E5. They're the heroes that do all the work on your account. Drake, the only thing he's doing for your account is his passive and defense down. Doesn't matter how much HP or attack he's got. His passive is what's good. Same with the Rogan. It's his passive that's good. Because that's benefiting you with more stats. It's giving attack, it's giving crit damage, right? And that's stats. And stats make the heroes that are actually good on your account stronger, right? That's why we use these heroes in their lower forms, because they give benefits which improve the heroes that you have to make them better at being the heroes that do good. Think of it as fueling an engine, right? Because early accounts only have 1 or 2 E5 heroes, so you need to put everything in on that E5 to make them absolutely colossal. So by upgrading someone that benefits you, like a Drake or a Rogan, that's actually pretty good having them at 9-star, because they benefit the account. But if you're not upgrading your guild tech, you're missing the point, because you're not going for assassins because of their stats. You're going for assassins because they give stats to your mages and your rangers, which is making them stronger. At least that's the context for this account anyway, because it's mages and rangers that you happen to have at E5. So we could totally get rid of that assassin tech. We do not need it. Those assassins aren't doing anything. As we look at the other factions, Light, you have actually quite a good number of Russell copies. So I would say try and save up more, because you've got enough for a 9-star, which you've already built. We've got 2 more, which gets us to 10-star. We still do need some more Russell copies. Do we have any Light and Dark chests? None that I can see. We do have imminent hero selection chests, so that could actually be another Russell copy. But just wait, be patient, save up until you finally have enough, which is going to be 9 copies of Russell in total that you're going to need. And then, yeah, you can build an E5 Russell. That's going to be good. Delasium's your option for Abyss, Garuda for Forest, and we have Tix for Shadow. So there is some guidance and shape coming to this account. And heck, you could even build Aspen for Dark. A 9-star Drake with an E5 Aspen, that'd be pretty cool, right? Aspen is definitely back on the radar, given that he is just a good hero, but not a lot of people build him Although you do have 2 copies of Drake here, so you're kind of even when it comes to Aspen and Drake, only with 1 extra Aspen copy. So, I'd say be patient as well with this, right? Because you can actually totally E5 a Drake, and with a 10-star Aspen, he can assist you in Seal Land, but it also works the other way around. A 9-star Drake can assist an E5 Aspen in Dark Seal Land. Either way, one of them is going to be your first E5 in the Dark faction, and I think Russell is going to be your first E5 in the Light faction. So this account isn't actually terrible, right? It's not a total mess. It just clearly hasn't been treated as optimally as it could have been. So just be very careful, right? That twitchy fingeredness when it comes to your monsters, this makes no sense. This is wild. I assume the reason you did this is because you've seen game modes like Interdimensional Arena where you can submit 3 lineups and you think, oh, I'm going to need 3 monsters. No. Build 1 monster at a time. So let's go with Phoenix. Let's get Phoenix finished, right? And then you can finish Deer after that. Although I'm really worried. Oh, no! Why? 35 in each. Okay, another really common early mistake is people think speed is important. Speed is only important in PvP. It's only important in PvP. Doesn't matter in any other game mode. When you're trying to do your Seal Lands, which is what early accounts are trying to do, and you're trying to do your Tower of Oblivion, you need HP and you need attack. See how everything is coming back to this same message. It's we want to buff the stats of the heroes that are good. So, again, we want to get that maxed, we want to get this maxed, and then finally at that point, you max the Rune of Speed. Now, what are the runes on Phoenix? Have you also done that? You went with Speed first? What? Why? You got that to level 50? This makes no sense. It's all over the place. What is the logic here? You did 2019 50 and then all 35s in the Deer. What the heck did you do with Ice Apparition? You've maxed all his skills. At least that's level 1s across the board. I am baffled. I am so baffled by this. Because I cannot empathize with the logic. I don't think there is logic. I think what's happened is you push buttons to see what happens. I think it's very much the mad scientist operating machinery. He doesn't know how it works. It is a child using a forklift truck. That's at least what it seems like. And that's exactly what you did. Yeah, you were like, dude, what happens if I do this? Oh, I spent all my gold. Like, oh, baby. Okay. Yep. That's how you empathize with the logic. There was none. There was no logic at all. Wow. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I think that's the econ in me that's like, everything must be done optimal, people must do things in a particular way, everything must follow logic and order. Nope, no chance. Humans are chaotic beings, and we do things for random reasons. As we have seen with this account, the account before it, sometimes you can look at a hero list and say, okay, looks like we've got some E5s coming here, you don't have very much guidance, but hopefully we finish the Ticks, we finish the Garuda, we finish the Aspen, we finish Russell, right? There's some semblance of a direction for this, but the monsters, this is next level. I've never seen this before. In all my time doing account reviews, I've never seen a monsters this crazy. You guys are asking about Stellar Shards. They don't exist. I don't think we actually have any Stellar Shards here. Let's have a look. We have some Crystals of Transcendence. We have some Stellar Shards. I assume we've used some of them to buff up the Sherlock? Yes. So actually, that's interesting. You've saved Transcending Spheres. Okay, that's good. Use these spheres for Stellar Shards. Never, ever, ever, ever use them for Crystals of Transcendence. Ever. Always Stellar Shards. Because you can use that to imprint your heroes. So that's another thing we could say about this account. Is because we're building wide across multiple heroes, you don't actually have any spare 10 stars that you can use for imprints. Because one thing about this account is you can imprint the penny. Avoid 2 ticks and avoid 2 penny together should be able to do Aspen Dungeon and get you to Death 100. That should be pretty easy, right? So you shouldn't have a problem here. You just got to get the 10 stars to do it. So the one thing this account needs to do, first of all, stop wasting your guild coins. Use them properly. Stop wasting your resources on your monsters. Build one at a time. and actually build some 10-star heroes to finish ticks and then get yourself sorted, right? Let's go and get some imprints on your penny, on your ticks. Let's get some game modes going, because you can perform quite well in both the Tower of Oblivion and Aspen Dungeon with those two heroes together. And in time, we'll get ourselves an E5 Dark, we'll get ourselves an E5 Delasium, we'll get ourselves an E5 Russell, and this account will begin to complete the rainbow that is 1 E5 in every faction, which will get you a 9-star puppet each time. So let's just be smart, let's just be steady, Mortality, and let's get this account looking good. I hope to see this again in the future, and I cannot wait to see what you fixed up. But for now, just be sensible, my dude, and don't do anything silly.